doesn't show up in that
Sure.
time frame, then I'll just take off. But yeah, go ahead.
Sounds good. Yep.
Yeah, well, I was listening to what you were saying, and I couldn't understand why somehow meaning would be antithetical to determinism. So I was wondering if you could explain that.
Well, sure. I would say that if you're a determinist, then you cannot differentiate between truth or falsehood, or just being forced to say what you're saying. I'm saying, as a determinist, what you're saying is not necessarily true. It's just your brain off-gassing.
I don't understand, why would you not be able to determine between truth or falsehood if it is determined?
Well, if you shook up a can of Mountain Dew and you opened it, would you be able to determine if that was true or false fizz?
But determinism doesn't entail that everything is fizz, right?
Well, your thoughts would be on a very crude, basic level. Your thoughts would be brain fizz.
Well, why? I don't see the entailment.
Well, if you're determinist, what are your thoughts then?
No, you're the one who's making the claim, right? So I'm
Right,
asking
and
you to demonstrate. I'm asking you to demonstrate the entailment.
I'm claiming that if you're a determinist, that your brain is an evolved meat machine, and your thoughts are the byproduct of the electrical chemical firing of your synapses within your brain. And if you want to claim that it's something else, I'm all ears.
Look, determinism is just the thesis that all events are fully caused by antecedent conditions, right? So for you to say that that entails that your thoughts are just brain fizz requires an argument, right? I don't see anything in the definition of determinism, right, which I'll repeat is just the thesis that all events are fully caused by antecedent conditions. Right? I don't see anything in that definition whereby it inevitably follows that your thoughts are brain fizz. So if you're going to make the claim, and if the claim is putatively a justified claim, presumably you have some kind of argument to support the claim. Do you or don't you?
Well, I will state once again that according to a non-Christian, or according to an evolutionary worldview, your brain is on a very basic level an evolved meat computer. And I understand that our thoughts, according to an evolutionary worldview, are simply the result of the firing of the synapses, an electrical chemical process within your brain. And that's my understanding of it. If you want to say, no, that's not the case, that's fine, but that's my understanding of it. And that being the case, on a very rudimentary level, an equivalent is shaking a bottle of Mountain Dew and opening it and watching it fizz. And if it's any different than that, I'm all ears. I'm willing to hear your explanation on how it's different.
Look, I don't have to explain anything. First of all,
all right. Well, thanks a lot for your time, guys. I had a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
I wasn't done. I wasn't done, right? I didn't say anything about an evolutionary worldview, right? I simply said that determinism is...
Okay, wait, sorry, just one sec, Jack. Okay, so sorry, the way we try to do it in here is, did Cy already dip? No, he's still here. So we'll give people closing statements. So I don't care about the order. You can finish what you're saying and make it into a closing, and then we'll give Cy a closing and then call it. I think that would be fair.
Fine. Yeah, no one said anything about an evolutionary worldview, right? The question was simply, how does the thesis of determinism entail that one's thoughts are brain fizz, right? Now, I asked you to provide an argument for the claim, right? And all you did was bring up an evolutionary worldview, which is not entailed by the thesis of determinism, right? You can have a deterministic worldview without believing in evolution. Right? Determinism is simply the thesis that all events are fully caused by antecedent conditions, right? Now, if you want to claim that an entailment of that thesis, determinism, is that one's thoughts must be brain fizz, you have to actually demonstrate the entailment. But I think it's pretty clear that you don't have any argument for the claim, which is why you try to turn the tables and say, ask your interlocutor to explain how one could have meaning, right, if determinism is true, right? But if you don't have an argument to justify the claim that meaning entails that your thoughts are that brain is just meat fit. Your thoughts are just brain fizz, right? Then it doesn't seem that you have any justification for believing that, right? I think that's the reason why, rather than provide an argument, which I predict you're not going to do in your closing statement, right? You're simply going to say, if you know of a way in which it's possible, I'm all ears, right? That doesn't mean that your belief is justified, whether or not I can provide that explanation or not. I don't see how it's in any way for me to provide the explanation, since you're the one making the claim, a claim that you clearly cannot defend. So I will close again with my prediction that in your closing statement, we will not see an argument, right, that establishes an entailment relation between the thesis that all events are fully caused by antecedent conditions and the putative conclusion that um, on determinism, all thoughts are mere brain fizz. So let's watch Saitin Bruggencate dodge the objection. I yield the mic.
All right, and Sai, you can take as long as you want. You can respond to that, and if you want to respond to anything else that's been said in the night, just go ahead. You have the mic for as long as you want.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. Hang on one second. I appreciate the opportunity. And the issue of determinism came up prior to this last person that was talking to me, and it came up from somebody who held an evolutionary worldview. So I was addressing his claims. And this last fellow who came up, who I don't even know what his worldview is, if he's not, if he doesn't believe in evolution, well, that's fine. Then I would start with him at a totally different place. But the issue of determinism came up with somebody prior who held to an evolutionary worldview. And I think that it was very clear the refutation of that position, which the person that I was talking to didn't seem to have a problem with it. Now, if this person does not want to cite his worldview or say it's not evolutionary worldview, that's fine. But I will engage him at a totally different level than where I engaged the previous person. So yeah, if he doesn't hold to an evolutionary worldview, that's fine. Then let's arrange another time when I can come on here and I can start talking with him from square one. But I'm saying that if everything is determined, it does not make sense to say that this is true or this is false, because what you are saying, you are determined to say. You're not differentiating between a truth or a falsehood. You're saying what you said because you had to say it. And I would like to thank you for having this forum and for allowing me to be in here, and actually enjoyed it to a large degree in here simply to look for more reasons to bolster their denial of the God that they know exists. And I think that's